here. So what it is, man, I'm doing my post-fight review. I'm talking about Errol Spence versus Lamont Peterson. Went down tonight. And, it was pretty entertaining while it lasted. I think that Errol Spence put on a very good performance. A very good boxing performance. Errol Spence, I think, showed different facets of his game. Gave a lot of angles. I thought he used his jab very efficiently. But you know what? One thing about Errol Spence is very consistent. He consistently does the things that he did in this particular fight. And that's a really good trait about Errol Spence. He's a very consistent, very steady, very stable, mentally tough guy, and he shows that night in and night out. And you know what you're gonna get with Errol Spence, and this fight was no different. I thought that he did all the things that he needed to do in order to beat Lamont Peterson. He gave angles. He used his jab. All right. He does a really good job stepping in and out of range, getting in and out of the way of punches. His defense is very underrated. He didn't take that much punishment throughout this fight. As a matter of fact, I don't think he got hit more than maybe like 10, 15 times throughout the course of the fight. And the thing about it is, when he did get hit, he pretty much walked through the punches like it was nothing. So, I think Errol Spence looked very, 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 very good tonight versus Lamont Peterson, who is a veteran in the game. Lamont Peterson been in some very tough fights, been in the ring with a lot of the biggest names in the sport, people like Tim Bradley and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Danny Garcia. The list goes on with Lamont Peterson. So I think this was a really good showing for Errol Spence. I think he proved his worth once again in this fight with Lamont Peterson. And one thing about it, man, Lamont Peterson, I think that he kind of came into this with like the wrong. I can kind of see why he did what he did, but it's like I think Lamont Peterson, the thing about him is he has a hard time like kind of gauging the situation. Like Lamont, like as a fighter, you should have the ability to give different looks and make adjustments on the fly. And I don't think Lamont Peterson really has that. I think Lamont Peterson really has kind of like two gears. Either he's gonna attempt to box you from the outside, or he's gonna try to just fight you flat out on the inside. And for the most part that's worked for him, but you gotta have a little bit more going. But nevertheless, man, he showed a lot of heart. He showed a lot of courage. I respect the hell out of Lamont Peterson. He had to get stopped by the trainer. He refused to quit. He refused to give up. And it is what it is, man. There's nothing more you can really say about this particular fight. Errol Spence just a level ahead, on skill-wise when it comes to Lamont Peterson. And it's kind of sad because Lamont Peterson, even though he's had a very good career, he's never really had that career-defining win. He's never really beat that A-level fighter, Like every time he stepped up in competition, he always lost, to that like A-level fighter, So, it is what it is, Respect to Lamont Peterson. Congratulations to Errol Spence for maintaining his IBF welterweight championship of the world. This is his first defense, in which I'm sure will be a few other defenses that he'll maintain that belt. But on to bigger and better things, man. And we all know that bigger and better things consists of the rest of the welterweight division. People like Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, Terrence Crawford, all right, and even Jeff Horn, So where does Errol Spence go next? Where does Errol Spence go next is the question for a lot of people. And, one thing that I've observed, Keith Thurman's been getting a lot of hate lately, man. The Keith Thurman hate is real. And I'm going to do another video about that. The Keith Thurman hate is indeed real. Yes, I think Keith Thurman and Errol Spence fight needs to happen. I want the fight to happen for sure. But I'm not necessarily demanding that Keith Thurman fight Errol Spence right a fucking way, like coming off of an injury. Like, that's not my first priority as far as the fights that I want to see right away. Like, yeah, Errol Spence is definitely a big name in the division. Yes, he's definitely a rising star. Yes, I think it's going to be a good fight. But, I mean, this is Errol Spence's first title defense, man. Like, what the fuck is the rush, really? Like, what? Yes, Errol Spence is calling him out, but that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to call out the top guy at the division. How many people called out Floyd Mayweather when he was at the top of his division at welterweight? Everybody in the goddamn division called out Floyd Mayweather when he was at the top of the division, okay? Errol Spence is supposed to call out Keith Thurman, okay? But does Keith Thurman necessarily need to fight Errol Spence next? No, he doesn't have to. Should he fight Errol Spence? Absolutely. If he's going to continue to hold on to that belt, then you damn sure right he needs to fight Errol Spence, okay, in the near future. But I can't understand all the hate that Keith Thurman is getting for not fighting Errol Spence tomorrow. Like, what the fuck? Like, coming off of an elbow injury, you want this man to fight Errol Spence next? Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all, man? So the man isn't entitled to a tune-up fight. Okay, so he's entitled to a tune-up fight because a lot of people concede to the fact that, yeah, he should have a tune-up fight. But in the very next fight, you want him to fight Errol Spence. Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I'm not saying that that's fucked up. Like, okay, like that's wrong of you people to want that fight and after that. But if he's only going to fight 2 times a year, and I know a lot of people don't like the fact that he's going to fight 2 times a year, but realistically speaking, most fighters only fight 2 times a year. So for Keith Thurman to realistically say, I'm going to have 2 fights this year, one fight's going to be a tune-up, another one's going to be against Sean Porter / Danny Garcia, whatever, then, I mean, that shouldn't be a hard pill to swallow like that. Like, dudes really, like, kill me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Like, dudes are being real unrealistic about this whole situation. Like, for Keith Thurman to fight Errol Spence in 2019, like, okay, that's next year. Like, Earl got the belt last year. Okay, Keith unified the belt last year. Okay, we're in January of this year. Like, okay, we got to wait a year to see the unification fight. Okay, fine. Keith wants to wrap up the business that he has at welterweight because we both know the Danny Garcia fight was highly disputed. Okay, the Sean Porter fight was highly disputed. Okay, so he's trying to get back because a lot of people said that he lost in them 2 fights. Okay, so make the get back happen. I'm sure also he wants to prepare himself or re-prepare himself for top level opposition. Okay, because, you know, I think Keith Thurman only fought once last year and probably once the year before. I believe Keith Thurman's only fought like 2 times in the last 2 years. And it may be for this same shoulder injury. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what the reason was for the fact that he only fought 1 time in the last, like 1 time for each year. You know? This shoulder injury might have been the reason why that was the case. You know? So, he fights Sean Porter. He fights Danny Garcia. Okay? So, he wants a tune-up. And then he wants to rematch one of those guys and then come back in 2019. What's the problem? It's not like he's pulling some Danny Garcia shit and then fighting, what's the guy's name? Rod Salka. You know what I mean? Instead of fighting some top level guys or anything like that. Like, Keith, to tell you the truth, Keith Thurman's entitled to one of those kind of fights. He's entitled to a stay busy fight. His last 2 opponents have been Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. So, like, I don't understand. Like, to me, the hate for Keith Thurman, the level of hate for this man, I do not understand. I really don't get it. Like, I really don't understand this shit. You know what I mean? I mean, again, I want to see the Errol Spence fight, for sure. But there's no reason for this man to get all this hate. Not by any means. You know what I mean? You know, and then another point, man. Another point. People love to talk about Keith Thurman, but every time I hear somebody brings up Terrence Crawford to Errol Spence, he don't sound that excited to want to fight Terrence Crawford. He talking about Terrence Crawford got to get a belt in order for him to see him. So, I mean, I don't hear nobody talking about that shit. I mean, really though. So you telling me because Keith Thurman don't want to fight Errol Spence tomorrow, he get all kinds of hate. But Errol Spence don't seem like he in a hurry to fight Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? Terrence Crawford seems like he's willing to fight anybody right now at fucking welterweight. Yeah, I'm sure the Jeff Horn fight is next. But if he beats Jeff Horn next, then Errol Spence can go after Terrence Crawford. But I don't hear nobody talking about that. I mean, this dude is literally a fight away from being a WBO champion. So why isn't Errol Spence saying, okay, give me Terrence Crawford? Okay, let me get Terrence Crawford. I don't hear that shit. You know what I mean? You know, I think what Errol Spence should actually do next, I think Errol Spence should go after the winner of Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios. Now that would be some good ass shit. You know what I mean? I think that would be a good strategic move for Errol Spence. Because if he can get in there and beat Danny Garcia convincingly, then, I mean, the Keith Thurman fight has to be next after that. Has to be next. You know? I mean, it would just make sense for it to be next. So, you know, I mean, am I saying that Keith Thurman should avoid Danny Garcia forever? No. Do I think that they should fight? Absolutely. Do I feel like it got to happen next or tomorrow? No, I don't. It's not that. No. It hasn't been ducking this man a long time. This man don't have 30 title defenses. This is this man's first title defense. He just got this belt. He just got this IBF belt. He ain't been waiting long. What the fuck are y'all talking about? Like he been waiting years and shit. Like Errol Spence been beating person after person, waiting, wishing, and hoping for this Keith Thurman fight, and he ain't get. He just won a belt last year. The fuck are y'all doing? What are y'all talking about? His first title defense. So, I mean, you know, shit. I don't know. I know I'm going to get hate for this, but what it is, bruh. I got to speak my opinion. In any case, man, let me know what you guys think about this shit. Hit it up in the comment section below. You can also hit me up on Facebook, Box Capital X or Capital X Die. You can hit me up on Twitter. Damn, I got it backwards. Facebook is Box -sign or -sign Die. Twitter is Box Capital X or Capital X Die. Like the video, subscribe, all that bullshit. But until next time, it's your boy D Dynamite signing out. Holla at your motherfucking boy.